Shalom Aleichem. Today we have a learning from the Sefer HaMitzvos Rambam, Sefer HaMitzvos Rambam, about the Dinim of redeeming the Ivriya, redeeming the Hebrew bondmaid. Let's take a look at it right now. Sefer HaMitzvos Rambam. שנצטבינו בדין, שנצטבינו בפדיון עבריה. The commandment that we are commanded to redeem the Hebrew bondwoman. 1 minute. Who Amro Yisala, it says in the Torah, be hefta, and she should be redeemed. Shemos Chaf Aleph Ches. Upadiya zo yesh ba dinim utanoim umishpatim rabim. And this redemption of the Hebrew bondswoman has, if the father sells his daughter, let's say, to be a servant to someone, so the redemption of her, this redemption, this redemption has many dinim, it has many halachos, utanoim, and tanai means like a tanai is a tanai. That's like a different condition. Umishpatim rabim, and many different judgments. Judgments, meaning it's just. Mishpatim rabim, very different just articles about it, about the details. Uchvar nisbar kol zeh b'mesechet kiddushin, and all of this is clarified in the Mesechet Kiddushin and Kiddushin, Yud Tes. B'sham Nisbar, and it's clarified there, Dinnim of Yovel, the laws of Ivriya. So it says Yud Tes, Kiddushin Yud Tes. That means Kiddushin Yud Tes is the 19th page, Yud Tes, and it says there's one dot there. That means the first Amud. The first side of the first daf. The first side of the daf. B'shamnis bo'er dini Ivriya b'shalemos, and over there it's explained the dinim of the Ivriya b'shalemos in its entirety, its in completion. Over Mechilta, the Mechilta Parshas Mishpatim, Amro b'feirush Amro Yisada b'Ama Ivriya. In the Mechilta it says b'feirush, specifically Amru Yisale b'Yama Ivriya. This is talking about the Hebrew bondwoman. And so here's a quote from the Torah: "V'im shalosh ela lo yaseh, and if he doesn't give her these three things, Sham Yod Aleph Amru Yad Lecha O Levincha O Pedei Osa. V'im shalosh ela, if he does not give her these three things, so it says Sham Yod Aleph. It says over there. In the Yud Aleph is 11, the 11th perek in Shemos Mishpatim. Amro, it says, Yad Lecha, she should be designated for you, as a wife for you, O Levincha, or to your son, O Pedeosa, or to your son, O Pedeosa. In other words, it's like this is good for the Ivriya. The father is doing this for the economic advantage of his daughter. That let's say that somebody is well off, he's able to give her employment. She can be an Amma for him, so he can marry her, or he can designate for his son to marry her. O Pedeosa. Pedeosa means he can redeem her. So let's see what it says here. Shemos Chaf. Let's see the pasuk where it says it. Shemos That's Shemos Chaf Aleph, that's Shemos, that's Exodus, or Shemos, Chaf Aleph, 21st Parak, Ches, the 8th Pasuk. Let's take a look over here. One moment. So, this is Shemos, Chaf Aleph, and let's take a look at Ches. V'chi yimkor ish es bito li'ama, lo seitzei kitzei so avodim. If a man will sell his daughter as a bondswoman, she shall not leave, like the leave-taking of the slaves, of other slaves. V'chi yimkor ish es bito li'ama, lo seitzei kitzei so avodim. Im ra'ah v'einei adoneho asher lo ya'ada, if she will be displeasing in the eyes of her master, of her new master, asher lo ya'ada, that he did not designate her, in other words, he did not choose her to be a wife, v'hefto, you should redeem her, v'hefto li'am nachri, Lo yimshol lemachra bevigdo bo. Let's see what it says for that. Pasuk, the 8th pasuk, if she is displeasing in the eyes of her master, who shall have designated her for himself. In other words, the master should have, in the eyes of the Torah, designated her for himself to be a wife for himself or for his son. So he did not do that. He shall assist her in her redemption. He shall not have the power to sell her to a strange man. He shouldn't sell her to a strange man, for he had betrayed her. In the Torah's eyes, it's as if he had betrayed her, because he did not take her for himself. The father sold her to him, meaning gave her as an eved to him for her benefit, for her economic benefit, and he did not take her as for a wife for himself or for a son. V'im livno yiyodeno kimishpat habanos yeyoseh lo. If he had designated her for his son, he shall deal with her according to the rights of the young woman. If he had designated her for his son, if, let's say, he gave her for his son, the son to marry her, for a shidduch for the son, he shall deal with her according to the rights of the young woman. Let's see what it says here about sale of a daughter. Until a girl reaches puberty, the Torah gives her father the right to sell her as a bondswoman. But as the passage itself and the teachings of the sages make clear, this right is given him for her benefit. This is for the benefit of the young girl, for the young woman. He is permitted to sell her because the sale is expected to result in her marriage to either her master or his son. In fact, if neither of the two marries her, the Torah regards it as a betrayal of the girl. Verse 8. The Torah, if neither he or the son marries her, the Torah regards it as a betrayal of the girl. If one of them chooses to marry her, the purchase price received by the father will constitute kesef kedushin. In other words, when the father received some money for her, this is considered as like money for betrothal money, by means of which she will become consecrated to either of them. Kedushin 18b. This is in the Gemara of Kedushin 18b. Equivalent to the ring that is currently used to effect betrothal. Ordinarily, a father should not exercise his right of betrothal while his daughter is still a child. Kedushin 41a. Ordinarily this shouldn't be the case. A father should not exercise his right of betrothal while his daughter is still a child. Kedushin 41a. But in the case of this passage, he may do so because it is an opportunity to provide for her future that would otherwise not be available. Rav Hirsch. In other words, this could be a good economic opportunity for his daughter. The girl goes free without payment in one of three ways. At the end of 6 years, B, upon the advent of the Jubile Year, the Yovel, and C, when her puberty begins. Lo seitze so avodim. V'chi yimkor ish es bito li'ama. Lo seitze so avodim. She should not go out like the other slaves go out. Lo seitze, she should not go out. She should not leave. Neither she nor a Jewish bondsman goes free as a result of the particular sort of mishap that would result in the freedom of non-Jewish slaves, i.e., in the event that master injures them, as set forth below. If the master were to inflict such injuries on a Jewish bondsman or girl, he would be required to pay for the damages, but not free them. It's only three things. The girl goes free without payment in one of three ways. At the end of 6 years, upon the advent of the Jubile Year, that's the Yovel, and when her puberty begins. Lo, and it says for himself. The word is spelled lo, he did not, but it is pronounced lo for himself. Let's take a look at Pasuk 8, Pasuk Ches. Here, Pasuk Ches. Im ra'ah ve'eni adoneha asher lo ya'adav v'yehefta asher lo ya'adav v'yehefta li'am nachri lo yimshol l'machra b'bigdo bo. So it says, if she is displeasing in the eyes of her master, who shall have designated her for himself, he shall assist her in her redemption. He shall not have the power to sell her to a strange man, for he had betrayed her. Lo, for himself. The word is spelled lamed aleph, did not, but it is pronounced lo, for himself. In other words, in such cases, the word is interpreted according to the pronunciation, so that our verse indicates that the master had a moral obligation to arrange for the marriage to take place. Taking both the spelling and the pronunciation into account, the verse is stating that he did not, lo, designated for himself, lo, though he should have. For himself, the word is pronounced lo, he did not. So let's see. Pasuk Ches. Imro be'enei adoneho asher lo ya'ada v'yehefto li'am nachri. So it says asher lo ya'ada. He did not designate her, lo. So in other words, he did not designate her, but it also spelled lamed vav. It's lo. Asher lo, it was to him. He should have designated her for himself. He has to redeem her. So it says, let's take a look at this again. Lo, for himself. The word is spelled lamed aleph. He did not, but it is pronounced lamed vav, for himself. Lo, for himself. In such cases, the word is interpreted according to the pronunciation, so that our verse indicates that the master had a moral obligation to arrange for the marriage to take place. That was the ideal thing, that there should be a marriage between the girl and either him or his son, Ibn Ezra. Taking both the spelling and the pronunciation into account, the verse is stated that he did not, lo, designate her for himself. He did not designate it for himself, lo, for himself, though he should have. V'hefta, he shall assist in her redemption. She and her family have the right to buy her freedom from servitude, and the master is obligated to make it easier for them to do so by assigning an unrealistically low financial value to her remaining years. For example, if she had been sold when she was 5 years old, her value as a maidservant in the first year would be negligible compared to that of her 6th year of servitude, because when she was 5 years old, she was not mature enough to do the things she can do as a 6-year-old, to give service, to help out. In the 6th year, in other words, she's worth more. Her service is worth more in the 6th year. In the first year would be negligible compared to that of her 6th year of servitude, when she is more mature and responsible. Thus, if she is to be redeemed after only 2 or 3 years, her master would be justified in demanding to be reimbursed for nearly all of his purchase price, because when she gets older, she can give him better service. So he'd be justified in asking for more, and demanding to be reimbursed for nearly all of his purchase price. Nevertheless, the Torah requires him to assist in her redemption. The master has to assist in her redemption by assigning the same value to each of her working years. Thus, if she were being redeemed after 3 years, he must accept no more than half of the purchase price. In other words, if she goes out she leaves after 6 years. So let's say if she were being redeemed after 3 years, he must accept no more than half of the purchase price, even though the remaining years she can give, if she's more mature, she can give much better. She knows what to do now. She can assist better, but still the Torah says that the person that she was sold to has to assist. He shall assist in her redemption. She and her family have a right to buy her freedom from servitude, and the master is obligated to make it easier for them to do so by assigning an unrealistically low financial value to her remaining years. So the master is obligated to make it easier for them. He has to help her. He has to assist in her being redeemed. Okay, Yeshikayach, go to Hatzlacha Rabba, Yechol to Yechol in Yanim, Refuos and Yeshuos and learning. Yeshikayach.